Every woman carries a secret, but not the kind she'll admit out loud. Not to her friends, not to her family, and not even to the man she dreams about at night. It's a hidden fantasy, a dark desire she buries behind smiles, polite words, and the mask of, "I'm fine." She hides it because saying it out loud feels dangerous, too vulnerable, too exposed. Because the moment she speaks it, she risks being judged, misunderstood, or rejected. But it's there, always there, in the way her eyes pause a second longer, in the way her laughter sometimes covers silence, in the way her heart beats faster around a man she feels she could finally trust. And the truth is, this silent fantasy shapes the way she looks at men. It's the invisible filter behind every glance, every smile, every hesitation. It decides who she lets close. It decides who she resists. It decides who she silently pulls away from, even if she never says why. Most men will never see it. They're too distracted, too insecure, too quick to chase approval instead of building real strength. They cover their fears with noise, showing off, competing, trying to impress, and in the process, they miss what she's really looking for. But the man who lives with calmness, discipline, and self-control, the Stoic man, he awakens it without even trying. Because his presence is different. He doesn't rush, he doesn't beg, he doesn't need to prove himself to anyone. His silence has weight. His actions speak more than his words. And that quiet steadiness makes her feel something she can't explain, something rare. She feels safe enough to imagine letting go. She feels seen without him having to say much. She feels drawn to him, not because he is loud, but because he is still. Once you understand this hidden truth, you'll never see women the same way again, and more importantly, you'll never see yourself the same way again. Because you'll realize that her secret fantasy has less to do with her and more to do with the man you choose to become. 1. The fantasy of letting go. In her daily life, a woman is always carrying weight, decisions, responsibilities, expectations. She holds herself together because the world demands it from her. She wakes up and thinks about what needs to be done. She takes care of her work. She manages her relationships. She plans, organizes, and pushes herself forward. People see her strength and admire it. They say, she's independent, she's powerful, she's unstoppable, and it's true, on the outside. But deep inside, there is another truth. Even the strongest woman grows tired of always being strong. Even the most independent woman sometimes longs for a place to finally set her burdens down. Her secret fantasy is not weakness. It is release. Release from always being in control. Release from the endless decisions and the constant pressure to keep going. And here is the part most men miss. She doesn't want to surrender to just anyone. She wants to let go only with a man who is steady enough to carry what she releases. A man she can trust so deeply that she feels safe taking off her armor. This isn't about force. It's not about dominance. It's about presence. The kind of presence that makes her feel, with him, I don't have to fight. I don't have to pretend. I can finally rest. The Stoics understood this power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." A man who rules himself with calmness and discipline becomes unshakable. He doesn't react out of fear. He doesn't lose himself in anger. He doesn't crumble under pressure. And it's this steadiness that awakens her hidden longing. Because when she sees a man who cannot be shaken by chaos, she feels the rare freedom to stop controlling everything herself. She feels like she can finally exhale. Imagine this. She doesn't have to think about the next move. She doesn't have to solve every problem alone. She doesn't have to pretend to be perfect. She can let go because his strength holds the space for her to do so. Most men will never inspire this feeling. They hesitate. They avoid responsibility. They push the decisions back onto her shoulders. And every time they do, her secret fantasy dies a little more. But the man who embraces self-mastery, the Stoic man, becomes something rare. His calm confidence tells her she can trust him. His steady leadership makes her feel safe. And in his presence, she finally experiences the freedom she longs for. The freedom to stop carrying the world. The freedom to let go. 2. The desire to be desired deeply. A woman hears compliments all the time. On her hair, on her smile, on her dress. The world notices her surface and thinks that's enough. But here's the truth she will never admit. Most of those words slide off her heart. They don't touch her. They don't stay. Because deep down, she knows those compliments come and go like the wind. What she secretly craves is not shallow attention. It's not a man who looks at her for a moment and then looks away at the next woman he sees. It's not empty words spoken just to win her favor. What she longs for, what stirs her at the deepest level, is the feeling of being desired completely. Not just her beauty, not just her body, but her mind, her spirit, her very being. She dreams of a man who looks at her as if she is the only woman in the world, not with desperation, not with neediness, but with a fire that is controlled, steady, and unmistakable. And here's the paradox. She will never say this out loud, because the world tells women, don't admit you want to be wanted too much. Don't look needy. Don't reveal the hunger of your heart. So she hides it. She smiles. She pretends she doesn't care. But in silence, she aches for it. Now, this is where the Stoic man is different. He does not try to drown her with constant flattery. He does not lose himself chasing after her. He does not beg for her attention like the others. Instead, his desire shows in his stillness, in the way his gaze lingers a moment longer than usual, in the calm weight of his presence when he enters the room, in the unspoken energy that says, I see you, all of you, and I choose you, not out of weakness, but out of strength. Seneca once wrote, "It is not how long, but how well you have lived that matters." And in the same way, it is not how many men desire her that matters. It is the one man who desires her deeply, with a quality of passion so rare that it makes her feel like she is finally understood. Because here is the secret no one tells you. The more disciplined a man is, the more powerful his desire feels. Why? Because she knows he is not controlled by his impulses. He is not moved by every temptation. He is not chasing just anyone. And yet, this man, who could hold himself back from the entire world, chooses her completely. That is what makes her heart burn. That is what makes her spirit soften. That is what makes her crave him more than any other. This is her hidden dream, to be desired without restraint, to feel like she is not just one of many, but the one he sees above all, desired not out of need, but out of the strength of a man who has mastered himself. 3. The longing for safety in vulnerability. Every day, a woman wears armor. She puts on a smile even when she is tired. She controls her emotions when the world pushes her too far. She measures her words carefully so she won't be judged. She keeps herself composed, polished, and steady because she feels she has no other choice. The world has told her, don't be too emotional, don't cry too much, don't show weakness, don't reveal too much of yourself. And so she learns to hide, to hold it all inside, to carry her storms in silence. But inside her heart, there is another truth. Her secret fantasy is not perfection. It is not being strong all the time. It is the dream of finally being able to let go. She longs for a place where she can stop pretending, a place where she doesn't have to smile if she doesn't feel like smiling, a place where her tears are not embarrassing but accepted, a place where she can lose control and still feel safe. This is the longing most men never see. They see the strong exterior and they assume she doesn't need anyone. They see her independence and they think she never wants to lean on someone. But in her deepest moments, she dreams of a man strong enough to hold her vulnerability without running away. Not every man can do this. Many men, when faced with her emotions, grow defensive. They feel attacked. They get insecure. They make her feel like a burden when she opens up. And every time that happens, she pulls back further, hiding more, revealing less. But the Stoic man is different. Because he has mastered himself, he does not get shaken by her storms. He does not panic when she cries. He does not lose his balance when she shows her fears. Instead, he listens. He stays calm. He lets her be raw, unfiltered, unpolished, and he does not flinch. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And this is exactly why his presence feels like freedom to her. Because when she is with him, she can stop controlling everything. She can let her walls down. She can trust that her messiness will not scare him away. Imagine this. She finally lets herself break down, her voice shaking, her emotions pouring out. And instead of being judged, she feels embraced. Instead of being told to calm down, she feels understood. Instead of being abandoned, she feels chosen, right in the middle of her chaos. This is the hidden dream. To find a man whose strength is not loud but steady, whose calm creates safety, whose discipline creates space for her vulnerability. Because when she finds that man, something inside her shifts. Her heart softens, her trust deepens. And she finally feels the freedom to be her full self, not just the polished surface, but the truth beneath. This is the fantasy she will never say out loud. The longing to fall apart, in the arms of a man strong enough to handle all of her. 4. The secret of being truly chosen. She lives in a world overflowing with attention, the stares on the street, the likes on her photos, the endless stream of comments, messages, and empty words. On the surface, it looks like validation. It looks like she has everything a woman could want. But deep inside, she knows the truth. Most of that attention is hollow, shallow, fleeting. The same words spoken to 100 other women, recycled and forgotten the next day. What she secretly craves is not the noise of attention, but the quiet power of being chosen. Chosen fully, chosen completely, chosen above all others by a man who doesn't have to choose her, but does, over and over again. This is her hidden dream, to feel like the rarest treasure in a world full of endless options, not just admired, not just wanted for a moment, but set apart, selected, claimed in the most sacred way, by action, not just by words. And here's the paradox. She will never tell you this directly. She will act like it doesn't matter. She will say she's fine if you talk to others, fine if you keep your options open. She will play it cool because the world has taught her not to want too much. But in her silence, her heart is watching closely. She is watching if you cancel other plans when she needs you. She is watching if you introduce her with pride instead of hesitation. She is watching if you keep her at the center, even when distractions surround you. Psychologists call this selective attention, the human desire to feel rare when choices are many. Because in a world full of constant temptation, the one who is actually chosen becomes unforgettable. But here is where the Stoic man is unlike the rest. He does not chase endlessly. He does not scatter his attention, desperate for validation. He does not hunger for novelty the way weaker men do. Why? Because he has mastered his desires. He understands that chasing more never brings peace. He knows that contentment is the highest wealth. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. And that wisdom is the key to this fantasy. Because when a man no longer craves everything, when he has trained himself to be satisfied and whole, his choice carries weight. And when he chooses her, she feels it. She feels it in the way he looks at her when others are near. She feels it in the way his loyalty does not shake, even when he has options. She feels it in the consistency of his actions, day after day, that say louder than words, "You are not one of many. You are the one I have chosen." Most men fail here. They try to prove their worth by chasing many. They think attention equals value, but the more they spread themselves thin, the less any woman can truly trust them. The Stoic man is different. He doesn't need every woman's approval. He doesn't scatter his loyalty like it's worthless. He chooses wisely. He chooses intentionally. And when he chooses, he stays. And that is the moment her secret fantasy awakens. Because she doesn't just feel desired, she feels safe. She doesn't just feel admired, she feels treasured. She doesn't just feel like an option, she feels like the answer. This is her hidden longing. Not to be one among many, but to be the one who is chosen consistently in a world full of endless distractions. The one a Stoic man holds close, not because he needs to, but because he chooses to. 5. The fantasy of being seen. She knows how to look beautiful. She knows how to smile when people are watching. She knows how to dress in ways that make heads turn. The world sees her surface and thinks that's all she is. But here is the truth she rarely admits. Her hidden fantasy is not just to be admired for her beauty. It is to be seen fully. Seen beyond the makeup, beyond the clothes, beyond the performance she shows the world. She wants a man who notices the details others ignore. The way her laughter sometimes covers pain. The way her eyes drift when her mind is heavy. The way her silence holds stories she's never told. She wants someone who sees her brilliance, not just her body, her scars, not just her smile, her battles, not just her victories, because she has fought wars inside herself. She has carried pain no one knows about. She has lived through doubts, fears, heartbreaks, and yet she still stands. And her secret longing is to meet a man who sees all of that and stays. But most men don't. They are blinded by appearances. They praise what is obvious, but overlook what is real. They admire her beauty, but never notice her burdens. They enjoy her surface, but never touch her soul. And so, she hides. She hides her fears. She hides her intelligence. She hides her wounds. Because she has learned that revealing them often leads to disappointment. The Stoics understood this better than most. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look beneath the surface, let not the beauty of appearances mislead you." And this is exactly what she longs for, a man who looks deeper, a man wise enough to see past the mask, a man strong enough not to be frightened by her truth. Imagine what that feels like to her. She opens up about her past, trembling, afraid she will be judged. But instead, he listens with calm eyes. She shows him the parts of herself she thought no one could accept, and he doesn't turn away. She speaks her fears, her failures, her scars, and he stays steady, present, unshaken. That is when her walls collapse. That is when her heart unlocks. Because for the first time, she feels the freedom of being fully herself, without fear, without masks, without shame. This is the fantasy she will never confess. Not to be endlessly praised, not to be treated like a perfect goddess, but to be seen in her entirety, her strength and her weakness, her beauty and her scars, her victories and her wounds, and to still be chosen. Most men will never give her this. They don't have the patience, they don't have the depth, they don't have the strength to sit with her truth without running. But the Stoic man is rare, because he has already faced his own darkness. He has confronted his flaws, he has accepted his scars, and so when she shows him hers, he does not fear them, he honors them. And in that moment, her secret dream unfolds. The fantasy of being fully seen, fully known, and fully loved. Not in spite of her scars, but with them. This is her deepest longing, not just to be desired, not just to be chosen, but to be understood. To stand before a man with nothing hidden, and to hear him say without words, "I see you, I accept you, I am not going anywhere." These are the hidden desires women almost never speak about, the longing to finally let go, the craving to be desired deeply, the dream of feeling safe enough to be vulnerable, the secret of being truly chosen in a world full of options, and the deepest fantasy of all, to be fully seen, scars and all, and still loved. Most men will live their entire lives never knowing this. They will mistake smiles for truth. They will confuse compliments for connection. They will believe beauty is the whole story. And they will miss the signs, miss the moments, miss the chance to awaken something powerful inside the women they meet. Why? Because they are too distracted, too impatient, too insecure to build the kind of strength a woman's heart secretly looks for. But here's what the Stoics knew, and what every man must understand. These fantasies are not unlocked by money. They are not awakened by status. They are not even stirred by charm or looks. They are awakened by something much rarer, by a man who has mastered himself, by a man who has trained his mind, his emotions, his impulses, by a man who is calm in chaos, steady in storms, disciplined in desire, loyal in love. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. And when you live by this truth, when you take command of yourself, you become the kind of man she cannot ignore. Because your strength isn't about control over her. It's about control over you. Your calm presence gives her the freedom to release. Your steady attention makes her feel desired. Your unshakable loyalty makes her feel chosen. And your depth allows her to feel seen in ways she has never experienced before. This is what separates most men from the rare few. Most men chase women. The Stoic man attracts them because his power is not loud but silent. It's not in what he says, but in how he lives. It's not in chasing every option, but in choosing with wisdom, with focus, with devotion. And when you choose this path, you stop asking, "What do women want?" because you already embody it. You already live as the answer to their unspoken dreams. So the question is not whether women have these fantasies. The question is whether you are willing to become the man who awakens them. Are you ready to stop chasing and start becoming? Are you ready to step into the discipline, the calmness, the inner strength of a Stoic? Because once you master yourself, everything else changes. Women will feel it without you saying a word. They will sense it in the way you walk, the way you listen, the way you stand in silence. They will trust it. They will desire it. They will crave it. And here's your first step. If you felt this message in your heart, if you saw the truth in these words, then do something about it right now. Hit that subscribe button, because this is only the beginning of uncovering the hidden desires of women and the hidden power of Stoicism. And drop the word Stoic in the comments, because the moment you claim it, you begin to live it. Remember this, the day you master yourself is the day you awaken the secret fantasies women never tell you about.